in my grandmother's voice, so that's how I'm reading it. My name is Erlene Jane Bertram. I was born on March 3rd, 1919 in Lynch, Nebraska. I'm the oldest girl of 14 children, and I went to Sunnyside School, south of Colome, for elementary. I wasn't able to go to high school the first year I was supposed to, but I went the following year with my younger brother Al. I had to work at the dormitory as a tutor through high school so I could board there. I graduated from high school in 1938 from Colome. From there I went on to the Southern State Teachers College in Springfield, South Dakota, which I believe was some part of the WPA program or something. So that's how she got lucky and got to go to college. I met Gus Ring at a dance. On our first date, we went watermelon stealing. We were married on Valentine's Day in 1943. Now, I had heard, and this is a side, I had heard the reason that they got married down in Nebraska because it was a little cheaper to get a license than in South Dakota.
That's funny.
That's something to do with my grandma, I think. Anyway, it was very quiet with us, just the two of us, before Margaret came along in December. And a year later, in 45, Donald came along in January. I continued to teach after Margaret and Donnie. I think she probably thought she was good with two kids. However, while she was teaching, she tried to teach Margaret. I had to send her home because she was such a crybaby. She taught all those other kids and probably her little brothers and sisters, but her first child was a little difficult to teach. So, you know Margaret, then you know why. 6 years after that, Carol was born. And then 2 years after that, Merle was born. I had my first plane ride when Carol was nearly run over by her dad. She had a tendency to want to go to town all the time, and she was hiding behind the car. And Grandpa went to back it up, and he kind of just ran over her ear, which kind of tore it off, and so she got a ride to Sioux Falls in an airplane.
Oh.
So it was a serious experience, but it all worked out fine. Then Joanne came along 5 years after Merle, and when Joanne was 4, I became a grandmother to the first Bertram great-grandchild. Her favorite, I think. That's what you say. Let's see, in March of 1963, Gus and I bought a small farm south of Colome, and we lived there for about 15 years before moving to town. I retired from full-time teaching in 1975, and I started substitute teaching. I was busier then when I was a substitute teacher than even when I was a teacher. I went to my first state fair at the age of 80, and over my lifetime I taught hundreds of children, and I had 16 grandchildren and 2 great-grandchildren at the time of my death. It was at the age of 80, 6 months to the day after my husband Gus died.
Oh.